So, something's coming through about, I've just woken up, so about choices. Not all of us get the same choices, but everybody does have choice relative to our own situations. Sometimes various programming or the conditioning of others, what we've allowed other people to impose on us, can sometimes distort the way that we look at choice, settling for things that are not actually in our highest, for our highest good, for our health, well-being and mind. Confirmation. And I think, when you're travelling or when you just meet people from different places, whether it's in our own country, one on the clock, or further afield, is you start to obviously have questions, and there's comes judgments about you just being a foreigner, and what you have access to is more than the local people on various things. But there's been many amazing stories across the world of people who've decided to change the narrative from one place, one town, one tribe, one family. They've decided to go against the grain. And where or how that decision is spurred on, soul blueprint, whether we believe in nature or nurture, the environment that we have been raised in, spirit, character, influence, is that it's really important, especially now, because I'm hearing certain people feeling like they're trapped, and all of these emotions stem from the mind. And I saw a post, something about the other day, is that not a lot of us realise that an emotion usually only rises for 90 seconds. So if in that time we're able to manage and monitor how that filters through our body, how it lands in our cells, in our mind, if we're able to, I don't like the word control, but we're able to harmonise, if we're able to sort of receive it, analyse and reflect without reacting in a now, I'm not saying reaction or anger or various things is wrong, because sometimes that's what needs to happen to get things out of the body, or to show people that we, can't take kindness for weakness. But, the specific scenarios and examples for that. For the main part, though, the idea is to maintain peace in the nervous system, so that our system can navigate more busy and chaotic situations. Even if we don't feel necessarily comfortable, but we're not overwhelmed. And I can only talk from my experience and having a couple of trips to town and bigger cities here, and things can be quite chaotic, and to see people navigate this noise and big markets and hustle and bustle is that's their gift. And if we want to learn from each other, it is important to be able to not feel overwhelmed in certain situations. It's not like I want to move back to the city, or I want to be in busy environments or huge concerts all around, lots and lots of multiple people all the time. But obviously there are moments and things where you're going to have to pass through different environments. And if we can maintain our groundedness and not get, for me it would be sensory overload, noise, smell, various things, not always having an option to put headphones on, for example. We all have choices in those moments where we're presented with something that is uncomfortable, that might not, I was going to say received as our best self. Like, yeah, it's a trigger, potentially. And at the moment where I've spoken to a few people and been like, you know, wherever we find ourselves in the world right now, everybody does have choice. According to the day-to-day decisions that we're making, whether we decide to do a bit more exercise, fast, someone's singing here, Sunday vibes, is it even Sunday? I mean, the days are blurring, I think it's Sunday. Whether that's to wake up a bit earlier and go to bed earlier, and to take one day of committed rest or self-care a week, or to, you know, put a coin away every day and start saving for whatever we decide we want long term. We can't forget that there are many, many choices for us. We don't all have the same choices, and that's evident. But it doesn't mean we can't change circumstances, and we can't start to influence our own lives and day to day to change over time. You know, as to say, you know, if you take action today, in 6 months' time, you could be in a very, very different position. This also includes the people that we surround ourselves with. You know, we can decide to move away from people that put us in competition with them. Might be competing for a man, which, you know, we don't do. Competing for attention, competing for some form of recognition. Once we're rooted and grounded in self and know that the only work we can do is for ourselves, obviously we share in the community, but the idea is to level up our being, to get better, to get self-mastery, then we do make the choice to, even if it's lonely sometimes, to move away from certain people who are still trying to figure that stuff out in themselves. So we can send love from a distance, but being around people who either committed to misunderstanding us or game players, then we might need to make some important choices this year so we don't keep going around in loops and repeating patterns. And yeah, I guess it's a reminder for me of everybody is that no one is trapped. We all make choices every single day, and if we really do want change, however uncomfortable, but change is really the only constant, and change is healthy for us. And humans, you know, many of us say it's not easy, we don't like change, but many beautiful things come from doing things differently. What is it, that version of insanity is, you know, doing the same thing and expecting the different results is the definition of insanity. So maybe now we can start to try to do things a little bit differently and see how the results land.